and you're tuned into House the Houseless, Music in Action with Cole Williams.
The Black Panthers coined the phrase "power to the people" during the freedom movement. Today, right now, in this moment, we are all called to uplift those people that you don't make eye contact with and pass on the street, the least of ours. We gotta dig deep, and we gotta dig deeper. We gotta scream, we gotta shout, we gotta bang on doors, and we gotta let them know to empower the people. We must give power to the people.
Yesterday is far away, my tomorrow's your today. Nothing's what it really seems to be. Walk the road less traveled, then you find yourself in trouble. Some people don't want some people to be free. Spending all our time on the other side. Dance 'cause the whole world's watching you. You are life's pop culture. If you don't, then they don't wanna. Hold up your head, give power to the truth. We give power to the people. We give power to the people. We push power to the people. We give 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 power to the people. We giving that power to the people. We got power to the people. We give that power to the people. We give 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 that power to the people. We give that power to the people. We give that power to the people. Smile like there's no hurt inside. Live with dignity and pride. Loving like you're heaven's here on earth. Dusting off your shoulders what lies in domestic corners. Breathe in, breathe out, relax, release the hurt. Some people never lose. They never felt the news of oppression by others who win only when they abuse. How we treat the bottom, where you go is where you come from. Hold up your head, give power to the truth. We give power to the people. 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 We got power to the people. We give that power to the people. We give that power to the people. We give that power to the people. We got that power to the people. Give him that power to the people. Like the king that he is to the people. To the people. Make sure you give power to the people. Give your queen power to the people. Your empress power to the people. To the people. Say his name to the people. Don't be afraid to the people. Just walk it out to the people. To the people. And we got power to the people. We got power to the people. We got power to the people.
All right, all right, all right. I got my DJ live fade going on, Miss Cole. How you feeling?
DJ Fabian on the ones and twos. I'm feeling good. How
I
you
love it. I love it. Well, I just want to welcome everyone to another episode of House the Houseless. Today, we head down to the heart of New Orleans. Oh boy, I wish I was back in New Orleans, Cole. But where the vibrant city, they pulse, the city meets this resonant beat of social change. And tonight in this episode, we want to shine a spotlight on the extraordinary journey of Miss Cole Williams, a musical force, a relentless advocate for the unhoused in the Crescent City. From the streets of Brooklyn to the soulful tapestry of New Orleans, Cole Williams has woven a narrative that transcends genres. As a musician, as a songwriter, as a producer, a humanitarian, Her melodies echo with a purpose that extends far beyond the stage. Today, we will explore the intersections of art and activism, delving into the story of women who not only crafts a soul-stirring anthems, but also spearheads tangible change in her community. And we got to witness that firsthand, not even but a month ago. In the rhythm of her latest album, Give Power to the People, Cole channels the legacy of Gil Scott-Heron, uses her music as a rallying cry for justice. But her impact goes beyond the recording studio, because as the founder of the Greater New Orleans Citizens Relief Team, Cole is on the front lines challenging the status quo by renovating blighted houses alongside the unhoused. In an era where every note carries a call to action, Cole Williams stands as a luminary, a beacon of hope for a more equitable world. Today, we're going to explore the artistry and activism of Cole Williams and dive into the pressing issues of social justice and the houselessness in the vibrant city of New Orleans. Miss Cole Williams, how are you doing this evening?
Well, I'm doing even more wonderful. I want to get to know this Cole Williams. She sounds amazing. I think the point in all of this is really just to let people know that I'm like everybody else. There's nothing really special about me except for I'm just zoning in on a purpose and a cause, and I'm continuing to do it. So anybody can do this work. It's fun. It's really a good time to do this work, I think, Fabian.
Well, I'm really excited to jump in because my experience when I got to see this firsthand, you literally rolling up your sleeves and jumping into something that others just wouldn't take on was an experience. I mean, it was very heartfelt, and for me, it was the highlight of my trip to New Orleans. And I say this over and over, with my friends in college. Well, how was it? I tell them about, oh yeah, Preservation Hall was great, and Bourbon Street, the tourist thing was kind of cool too. But what really struck me through my whole entire trip was connecting with you. We do the virtual thing, but connecting with you and just seeing you and your work. It left a really great impression on me and on my heart. So I'll let you jump in, because I know there's some things that you want to share and some people you want to introduce.
Because I do want to take some time to just speak about it, because we haven't chit-chatted since you visited New Orleans, and I just wanted to know what your experience was, so that we can share that with anyone that's listening today. Well, we just want to do some housekeeping, because we're so happy to have our New Orleans live stream partner, Offbeat Magazine, that's also streaming. They're a wonderful home for everything music and culture in New Orleans. And just so y'all know, tonight we have the Offbeat Magazine Best of the Beat Awards. It's like the New Orleans Grammys. And I'm emceeing tonight. So tonight people are getting awards. People are being recognized for their contributions to music and like individual instruments, like the best horn player, best trombonist. We have a Lifetime Achievement Award winner, David Baptiste Sr. So there's going to be a tribute to him. Leah Nocentelli is playing tonight. So it's going to be a good time. So I just wanted to shout that out. I also wanted to just say that also in this episode, we're going to touch on the DIY to organizing. Like, how can you organize? Because I think a lot of people think you have to be a superhuman to do this. And it just takes just the love and the passion for people. And then also just the consistency and the discipline to like keep going. But anybody can do this. I want to give a big shout out and a big thank you to Malik Mango from Great Day, Louisiana on WWL. I got to share the work that we're doing with the Greater New Orleans Citizens Relief Team on his morning show. Also, Fabian, I'm so excited. The Cole Williams Band, my project, my music home, we got invited back to perform at this year 2024's New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival on the Rolling Stones Day, which, can we call it the Cole Williams Band Day?
We could do whatever you like. That sounds great to me.
I'm just so honored. So, it's just, whether we play or not, whether you're playing the festival or not, it doesn't mean that you're not a great musician, but it's just something about being able to play for all these people that are coming together, just to hear music, like to have that many music lovers in one space. Like, that's what I'm really excited about, and to share the message of this work, how we can organize in the community.
I love it.
So excited.
I love it. I love it.
Can we cue video 1? Because before we start chit-chatting about your visit, I just want to give a backstory and lay the foundation for what we're doing and why we are so committed to housing the houseless.
Yep. And here we go with the first video.
Thank you.
Everybody that work in this city hall, how can you look out your window, get out your car, like we ain't shit? I'm one of the homeless person that they can't just put in a box and say, oh, she mentally ill, or something wrong with her. No, because I worked at Dave and Buster. You know, I have held several jobs and had to not work because of not having somewhere stable to be.
There are about 8,000 hotel rooms that are available in the city.
We're with the New Orleans Relief Citizens team, and right now we're coming to you to find out if you have rooms available right now.
We want to do what y'all need, not what we want.
For the people.
We want to know what y'all want. That's what this is about.
Well, here's the first thing everybody got to stop doing. Stop saying homeless. Start saying displaced, because a lot of people is forced into now this position.
I agree with you. A lot of these 501c3s don't even know poor people, and they're supposed to be serving them. They give them food or blankets or something, but they don't know them. They've never been in their home. They've never been at their table for dinner. People think the Martin Luther Kings and the Rap Browns and the Stokely Carmichaels, the people who made speeches, they think the spoken word is what built the movement. That ain't what built the movement. It's on that ground, knocking on doors in them cotton fields and cane fields and tobacco fields, and meeting with people in bars and hotels and washaterias and beauty parlors and barbershops. That's where the movement was built. If you look at those old footages of Martin Luther King and anybody else doing marches, you'll see a front line of intelligentsia-looking people and professional-looking people, and the whole march is just ragtag black folks. That's who stepped up. It's the ones in pain that know where they hurt and know what is needed for them to not have pain again.
We want city-owned housing to be made available for restoration and renovation for the houseless, by the houseless.
See, we out here doing it because we want the house. We need the house.
That's right. If we do one, the rest will come.
Oh, that's how it goes.
Once we build these houses, and there will be many, we give them away.
Everything here is donations. This is all grassroots. We haven't gotten corporate sponsorship. CORE came out here because they wanted to be a part of this. Our preventers out here, they want to be a part of this. Artivism is out here, they want to be a part of this. So this is really community-based.
Powerful.
Wow, every time I watch this, I hear something else. You know, Curtis, that's in the video, he was my mentor. He organized, was a civil rights veteran till the day he died, like literally. So he trained me in the Ella Baker style of organizing. So when I hear him speak, you know, I'm just reminded of like what we were doing. I mean, you came to the house, but just imagine like at the beginning of the pandemic, just the energy, everybody was looking for something to believe in. And we found the most consistency, the most love with the people that we were serving, the houseless. Like I hear Curtis saying a lot of 501c3s are serving poor people, but don't know poor people. So how can you serve a group of people that you don't know? How can you serve a group of people when you don't ask questions? It's easy, so easy just to go in and say, this is what you need. You know, it's like sweeping under the rug. It's very easy. I know why they do it. But what we're saying is, obviously, it's not paying off because we wouldn't have a growing population of houseless and at risk of being houseless people. So what was their experience? I just had to preach for a little bit, but I'm just so curious, like, just paint the picture, like coming there, just even knowing that you were going to do it and then seeing it and us talking about it all this time.
Well, thanks for setting that up. Here's what I can say. We've been broadcasting and sharing your message. I've lost count. It's somewhere between a dozen and half a dozen. And every time we get into this virtual space, I get excited, I get charged, I get fired up because I get to connect with another human being that is in alignment with their purpose, right? You are in alignment with what makes you tick. And when you're around people with that energy, I mean, artists, right? When you're around artists with that energy and their passion, whether it's musically with their instrument or with their voice, or even whether it's just having that sidebar conversation on what they're passionate about, I get fulfilled. So Cole, connecting with you, I'm just fulfilled. And then Lewis and I, the CEO of Rope It Open, we had an opportunity to head down to New Orleans. And that's where you're based, right? Currently. And I don't even know how it got connected. I don't know the inner workings of the conversation between you and Lewis, but somehow he was like, "Hey, it's on the calendar for Saturday morning. We are going to go to the grocery store, or we're going to go to the store. We're going to pick up some supplies, some food, and we're going to connect with Cole, and we're going to, serve the houseless." I said, "Oh man, that's cool." That was it. That's cool. Like that's cool. That was my thought. Yeah, I get to meet Cole in 3D, and I get to serve the houseless. And at that initial part, it was just like very superficial. It was very surface level. Like, okay, cool. Another thing that I'm going to do now, like people may know, you may know, may not know, I don't know, but I'm familiar with this type of work, right? In certain degrees. Fast forward, we get down there, we have our time in New Orleans, and we're meeting people, and we're connecting, and we're having meetings, and it's great. And it was just an awesome opportunity, and all the people that we connected with, and the organizations, it was great. And then Saturday comes, or Friday night comes, right? So we wanted to make sure that we weren't out too late on a Friday night, because Saturday morning came pretty early.
How did that work out? Let me tell you,
it's New Orleans.
I got my first Friday events, and like I'm just like, shh, I'm gonna come as I am.
And that's what happened. I wasn't too far off, but we're in New Orleans. we get the rental car, we make it down, and we pick you up, and we go to the first stop, and it's this box trucks, and all these people taking food from the truck and out, and they're sorting, and they're organizing, and clipboards, and like crossing and checking, and like it was a thing. It was a thing. And I'm like, oh boy, this is real. This is
we're not just going to the supermarket.
No, this is a thing. So I mean, it was at that first moment I realized, oh, okay, there's some organizational things happening to make this possible. This is not just, Cole, getting some stuff at the Acme supermarket and, putting it in some bags and bringing it out. No, it's a machine. It's a thing. It requires other partnerships. It requires other organizations and other people of like-mindedness to come together to make it possible. Right. So my first impression was like, dang, this is what's up. People caught the bug, and then I got to work, got my gloves on, carrying food and put in the little car that we rented, and Lewis, no, Tetris style, we take this out and put this back in, take this and put it this way.
Lewis was old school with the
yeah.
He said, I'm gonna take charge. I've been doing this for a long time. It was good.
Lewis is no stranger to the food side, the food industry.
Right.
And we made it work. We got it in there, and we got to the house that you saw on the video just a second ago. And we get there, and it was kind of quiet Saturday morning. No one really out. The family that you connected with there, they were there. A couple of people, not big, got the tables out, and now we got the food coming out of the car, and we're organizing the food and putting it in bags, assembly line style, and we're going through the process. It still didn't hit me. Nothing hit me. I'm like, okay, I'm just here. This is what we're doing, right? Okay, really organized, and we got a thing. And then, I connected with, and I forget her name, the family that lived right there. I forget her name, with a cute little daughter.
Miss Diane.
Miss
Yeah,
Diane.
and her daughter Jacqueline. It's
Yeah.
my little girl.
And being a Hispanic, from Hispanic heritage, I try to communicate with Miss Diane in my best Hispanic language that I know, because it's not really that good.
I didn't know that.
It's not really.
Okay.
It's not really that
How
good.
was it?
It's not really good. It's good enough, but here's what I know. I know I made her laugh enough to connect with me on my broken Spanish, right? And then it started getting real, because I started connecting with people. And as we're prepping these bags, people, and here was the interesting part for me, Cole. Everyone, no, let me not say it. I could assume that people, when they think of houseless or homeless, when they think of people that may not have the things that they have, they have an image in their mind that it looks a certain way. Or even furthermore, people in need look a certain way. But let me tell you something. When people started coming to the table and we started, helping and giving these bags of food, it was all different shapes, sizes, colors, creeds. It was people that looked just like me and you. Just like me and you, that were still in need and still needed a hand. And had I had seen them, in any other situation, I wouldn't even think twice. Oh, they're, I wouldn't even think twice.
I just wanted to interject with something. I love that you say that, because you make me think how, since you guys came and volunteered, we're always just talking about how we can grow and get better. And I realize that anytime we have a lot of volunteers, it gets a little hectic by the line. So that's just something that we put to the table. But anyway, just the face of houselessness, or the face of need. I realized that something that I was doing was, I can't give you this bag because it's for somebody under the bridge, but you're looking right at the bag. And it made me think, how many times have I been in need? I can remember working in this business, not being paid anything, because, people don't like to pay. And not having just enough to get by, and really being hungry, and nobody would know. No one had any idea. And thank God I knew people. So I would always get invited to a nice lunch, at Dean and DeLuca, So luckily I had that privilege, but right? What is the face of need? Because we're all just doing our best. We're all, it's just the mask that we learn how to put on. You were talking about masks, right? So I just wanted to interject with that I get that, because we had to reestablish how we're going to distribute. We don't turn anybody away. So we're not doing that anymore.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, and I'll reflect on what you're saying, because I want to let you off the hook a little bit too, because I think my experience further goes on. So we're helping this community of people, and it's like clockwork. People are just they're coming from all different sides of the streets, and they're coming in, and they know it's Saturday morning, and you had your message, and hey, look, we'll be back here next week, same time, come here early, because things go fast, and we want to help more people, but it's hey, get here, first come first serve, and then we have to take what we have, and we have to go to the second location, we have to go to this other location, third location. So it's not easy, but what you're doing is you're playing the seed. Okay, look, this is something that's going to be consistent, and this is something that if you are in need, just get here and get here early, right? So we connect with some people, and I remember some people coming up and, maybe not speaking the language, and just like, they were kind of hesitant to come up at first. They weren't sure they had to pay. They didn't know. And then them walking away, and then me like almost like running after them, like, no, like come back. And then them, taking some things, and it was really fulfilling. And I remember at one point looking over at Lewis, and, he was overwhelmed with, I mean, I can't speak for him, but what I gathered was a sense of gratitude like none other. And you can just see it. His emotions were just very evident. And that was spectacular to see, from a person that I have been working with, for close to a decade now. And we've had moments, but it was just spectacular to see. And then we pack up shop from that location, and we get back into the car with, the rest of the supplies. And then we go to location number 2. I'm driving here, make a left, make a right. I'm like, like I'm a good driver, but I'm in a different city. Okay, great. And then Cole says, stop right here. I'm like, right here? We're in the middle of the highway, like at the bypass. The highway's right here. Like, what do you mean? Just stop right here and throw your hazards on. Like, okay. Stay in the car, Fabian. Okay. And then you guys get out to this area that I guess was once known as an area where people were maybe falling under addiction, and a place that may had not been a place where people wouldn't want to go to.
There's a lot of addiction in that first location under the bridge, a lot. So people, we actually didn't go there at first, but one woman ran us down and said, I live under there. Can you please start coming over there? And then we started going over there. And then guess what? I stopped seeing her. And 2 months later, she walks up to the house with her uncle that's been getting groceries from us for about 2 months. That's his niece. She just got an apartment. It was so interesting. Anyway,
it's
so those are like the moments that always happen.
Well, from your perspective, yeah, right. They always happen. For me, this is the kind of work that I don't practice. I mean, on a regular basis, I've done it. I just don't. This is not a part of my routine. It's very much a part of it. It's not. I heard someone say, Fabian, it takes anywhere from 21 to 60 days to build a habit. Okay, well, you could build a habit or you could break a habit in that amount of time. Mm-hmm. But that's just the first step, Fabian. Okay, well, then, it takes anywhere from, that 2-3 month period to about 1, maybe 2 years to turn that habit into a lifestyle, right? For it to really settle in and for it really to be a part of what you do. But it takes anywhere from 3, 4, maybe even 5 years for that lifestyle to turn into your identity. Like this is who you are. This is how you show up. But it all starts off with making a decision and creating that turn into routines that eventually, if you're lucky and fortunate enough, it becomes just a part of your identity. It becomes on who you are, right? And I have to say, you were at that life. You were at that identity. At that identity set. This is who you are. This is who you're being, and that's
my
really
4th year of doing this with this organization. So it's so interesting that you say that because it really does feel like my identity. Because I look at those videos and I see, oh my God, you grew so much. You've grown. On that note, put a pause because I recorded this. I just wanted to share I didn't start off like this. It's a process. So I made this DIY. You want to be an organizer, bottom up organizing, and for shelter, like how we started with shelter. So would you mind just interjecting with that so we can have more to talk about?
Yeah, that's video 1, correct?
2.
Video 2, excuse me.
Right. And we're back.
This is the nervousness that Fabian gets started. Okay, well, we got it. I'm techie. I promise. I know how to use a computer. All right, here we go. Video 2, and this is pay attention, guys. This is a very interesting video. So here we go.
So you want to build a movement from the bottom up, and you don't know how to start. Well, we're going to start with shelter. Hi, my name is Cole Williams. I'm the founder of the Greater New Orleans Citizens Relief Team, and I've been organizing with the Houseless since 2020. We started off giving concerts under the bridge, and 1 week after our first concert, the COVID-19 pandemic hit. So we decided to redirect our efforts with the people we came to work with in the first place. So we asked the people living under the bridge, what do you want? Where do you want to go? And they told us, we want to be able to shelter in place, and we want permanent housing. So we organized demonstrations with them in front of New Orleans City Hall and demonstrated until they received shelter. But the ultimate goal has really always been to find a way to house the houseless, get them all the resources that they need to succeed in living in their own space. So we took them in the neighborhood and we asked them to choose the neighborhoods they wanted to go to, and we looked for blighted, abandoned homes, and they picked it. They picked this home. And we started working. We asked for help. We asked for volunteers. We asked for donations of supplies or money to buy supplies. And quite frankly, I'm surprised at how many people didn't give, but I'm so surprised at the people that did give. People came out every Saturday. We had about 20 volunteers every week. We started off with about 3, but it grew and then it deflated, and then it grew and it deflated. So here, we're still doing this work. We've expanded to food, which we'll get into next time. But what's the point of this story? What's the point of this video? It's to show you that you can start a movement with the people that you're serving, and all the other things will fall into place. Have faith. Continue to ask questions of the people you're working with. They have the answers. Our job is to develop these ideas, to kind of put a little sheen on it. But the bulk of the idea, the root of it, it's coming from the people that we're serving, the houseless.
You know, I want to make sure that this doesn't feel glamorous because, you know, I'm in the lifestyle part of this where it's kind of like I don't think about the organizing as much as I used to. It's become second nature. It really is my lifestyle. And it can become anyone's lifestyle, you know, once you find a way to be consistent.
Yep.
You know, it's just, how are you consistent? What can you do? So we do have volunteers that come twice a month. That's what they can do. We have some that come every week. We have some that come once a month. Like I always say, just give what you can.
Well, man, I'm almost speechless with that last one. Almost. What you're saying is, or what you said was, you know, sometimes you can just start by including the people, I'm paraphrasing, including the people that you're serving, but making them a part of the process, a part of the thing that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And that really resonates with me because sometimes organizations can get a little disconnected from the scope and the vision and the mission of what they initially intended, you know, and it's not anyone's fault that sometimes they get a little bit further removed from the actual work and kind of meander up to like the administrative tasks or the whatever, the day-to-day things that need to happen. So let me ask you this, you know, you've been doing this, you said for 4 years now, and you know, you had some reflection watching some of your previous videos, like, oh, like, you know, when you see yourself, you know, from 4 years ago, like you mentioned, oh, I've grown since then. In what ways has you as a person and your organization, in what ways have you grown in the past 4 years? And how does that set the tone for the growth for the next 3-4 years?
Wonderful question. Well, I'm going to start with the us because I'm better because we're better. So I'm looking at the people that I'm working with, that I'm leading. And I only say that because I'm the founder and I learned this method that I'm passing. So I look at each of them, how they've grown, how much better they are at organizing, how much better they are at being equitable in their space. You know, so we have Black volunteers, white volunteers, male volunteers. You know, they're all different things that we have to address because when we talk about white supremacy, you know, where people get stuck on is the white. But the practice of white supremacy is not just stuck with white people. It's how we've all learned how to survive. So we're all practicing white supremacy, which means thinking that we know more than the people, than whatever it is that we think. So we all think we know better than the houseless. We all think we know better than poor people. And we have to turn that around. We cannot fix anything from the top down. It only starts from the bottom up. And I am witness to just the language go from homeless to unhoused since we in New Orleans, not just my organization, all of us activists down here and down the South have been working with the houseless. So now it's about like, how do we get better? Like, how do we actually all start to practice a little bit? But the growing is that I believe it. I was on the surface. I was throwing a concert. Remember, I started off, I wanted to do concerts under the bridge. That's all about me and my voice and me singing. Okay, great. And then we'll give out some food and you see the picture of me talking to someone. I actually had conversations with people to make sure they wanted me there. So I didn't just bulldoze my way in, but even think about the way that Curtis Muhammad allowed me to start working with the houseless. Now, when I go back under the bridge and perform a concert, which we will do, I'm going to do it not from a space of like, I'm trying to show you what I can do and I'm a singer, but I'm going to do it from a space of, I know my voice is going to get people out here so that we can start talking about this. We're going to have a good time. We should have a fun time organizing, and I'm hopefully going to make it fun by being a singer.
Wow.
But no pride. So that's the thing. I've gotten more humble. I was humble before. Now I'm more humble. And I'm peaceful. And it's really interesting. I'll tell you this. So the other side of organizing and doing this work is now everybody thinks that I'm a charity case, that I'm helping people, that like my job is to help. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised at the things people like have tried to get over on, like from asking for money, from like in the music business, just thinking that they can steal, thinking that they can take my lyrics. I mean, the stuff I'm going through right now. Mm-hmm. So I would say for people, you know, we got to be aware. We all want to do good in the world, so we say, but remember, like the person that we're showing ourselves to be is not always the person on the inside, which is why we got to do this work. Because I know who's real by the people that come and show up every week. You know, we all at different levels, but I know at least you care enough to show up. So I can work with that. I know you have some humanity that I can work with, but I don't work with anybody that doesn't have humanity. That's where I am now. And I learned that from Curtis Muhammad. Mm-hmm. I'm doing work that's bigger than me. So I got to be in the right space. And this is not to be a martyr, but I'm in a group of people, modern, but I'm standing on the shoulders of giants, right? And so I have to be respectful of the shoulders that I'm standing on as I'm carrying on the work. It's all connected. So that's what I'll say. I'm much more respectful of everything that I do and the people that I'm around, and just like anybody on the street. I love people that live on the street. They are real.
Man, you bring a lot of experience, perspective, you know, not just to the topic of houselessness and the work that you're doing, but the type of person that one needs to be when they're trying to live a life of purpose and meaning. And I think if there were more people that woke up in the morning and they figured out what their purpose and what their meaning was in this world, the world would be a better place, right? But it takes one person at a time. And
or several or many. You know, we're all spread out. So it's not just me. There are a lot of people out here doing this work. A lot. You know, I don't think that there are a lot that are doing it the way that I'm doing it. I'm working with the people. I'm not making any money off of this. This is not my day job. I still have to make money at music. So, but I work this like a day job. I put more hours into organizing than I do into maybe music sometimes. But I tell you, when I sit down and I start producing and composing, it's like Divine Mother, you know, is sitting right there just giving me the words. So I got to be so respectful. So, you know, I'm talking about service, and it's so difficult for people to think about serving others when they're not where they want to be. I'm not rich by like worldly standards. I'm not rich, but I'm like rich, like Bob Marley said, I'm rich in experience. I'm rich in spirituality. So it depends on, so what are you looking for? But there's like many different roads to get to this place of happiness. We're all just trying to be happy. Service is a direct path. I'm telling you.
Side note, tangent, and I'm just kind of shooting off the hip on this one, but I had an opportunity to connect and network with some people of influence and stature that is always he's always open. They're always open to like figuring out like how they can connect with people that are trying to fulfill a purpose and that are trying to accomplish something. And we're just having a conversation, we're going back and forth, and I'm just like, who are you? Like I never met an individual like you that that their driving force was literally to look and seek out opportunities to help other people. Like that's their DNA. Like they woke up like that. like
Yeah.
and I said, I'm like, man, there needs to be more people that think and act and do like you're doing. And I'm sitting right here with another person that's just like that. And like you mentioned, there's other people who are doing the work. You do it a little different, right? Where you are, I'll say, I don't want to say in the trenches. I don't want to be like that's
No,
not,
say this. I am in the trenches. When people ask me where my office is, I say in the streets with the people. I had somebody from a 501c3 came to an event. Oh, so can we meet? Where's your office? I said, yeah, it's in the streets. What time you want to meet? We want to keep the overhead low so we can serve the people, But, I think if more people actually did the service, like from the heart, not looking for anything in return, they would understand like why people actually are so invested in service. Can I read you some comments?
Yeah.
We had some. So thank you so much for sending in your comments. These happen to be really good comments, but feel free to send them all in because we can't get to the solution unless we take the stuff out of the dark corners. So we got to be really transparent. So hearing what you feel and what you think really helps us to address maybe what's happening and maybe help bring you over to the solution-oriented side of there's no reason everybody shouldn't be helped. So Mark Hickson of Pennsylvania says, I'm incredibly impressed with you as an activist for the households in Louisiana. Your podcast is especially eye-opening and inspiring. Thank you. Simone from Brooklyn. I find your dedication unwavering and your work with Rope-A-Dope making a real difference in the lives of people in need. That's wonderful to hear. Craig says, I found that it is clear that you are not only passionate about helping the households, but that you have a deep understanding of the complex issues that they face. And Joyce Ann, last one, Joyce Ann from Telluride says, I'm struck by your dedication to organizing daily demonstrations, demanding safer spaces, and your activity in spearheading the renovation of blighted houses alongside the houseless. Those are nice. I'm really happy to hear that people understand. That's what I'm hearing, like understanding of the work. If I kind of shy away from like being like a leader in this, or we have a tendency to put people up on these pedestals and hold them responsible and accountable for leading us to a promised land. The reason that I organize the way that I do is because I want everybody to organize the way that I'm organizing, the way I learned to, because we all have the power and we can all work together and we should all feel like our ideas matter. So it's not about, oh, my idea isn't good enough, I'm not going to say it. It's your idea that maybe isn't good enough, maybe helped us get to the idea that really will solve it. So that did help.
Wow.
It's about a collective. So my organization, we're collective. We only say founder because, we just got to know who to arrest if we need to be arrested. I'm just joking. But it really is collective. So I don't know if you noticed, Fabian, like on site, I was asking questions like, how do you think we should do this? What do you think about that? I'm constantly asking questions instead of doing what I think is best, because I want to make sure that I'm modeling. Just because you have the answer, why don't you see if somebody else has a better one, has another one? Why don't you include them? find a way to be inclusive. So you'll hear that a lot, like when you're working with us.
You know, this is not my first time hearing you or, you know, being in your in the room in the presence of you, but I have to say every time I do, I take away this little golden nugget. And what I hear and see in that last piece is a strong desire to let people know that one, you can do it too. It's not is I'm not, you know, I'm not special. Like this is something that if you, and not just, you know, in providing services and uplifting the houseless, like whatever it is that people wanted to do, like it is possible. You just have to put that one foot in front of the other. Another thing I hear from you is that you want to be very much connected to the source, very much connected to the cause that you are serving, because the disconnection means like maybe you're on the other side and, you know, in the big shiny office with the big windows and, you know, like, oh, like let's meet for coffee at my office, but you know, I'm really it's that's a disconnect for me. But
To a
you're
certain extent, you start when the people aren't included, it starts becoming how we're going to help them instead of how like we can all grow together. Because you got to understand, just because you're not houseless does not mean that you're not affected by houselessness. Like, do you like to see people living on the street when you're trying to go to work? Do you want to smell pee? Do you like knowing that there are people out there with mental health issues that aren't getting the help they need, that are hanging out next to schools? I mean, there's like so many reasons why we need to help individuals. You know, it's not about they don't deserve it or they didn't pay for it. It's like we're paying, whether we pay directly out of our pockets or not, we're paying for this houseless issue.
Oh, that's powerful. There is a stigma. I mean, I know you know, but there is a stigma around houseless individuals. You know, I live in an area where I had to drive to get into the city, and in the city there are individuals that may not have the things that I have, and I have a choice, right? I can, you know, ignore them like they don't. Maybe they don't. Maybe if I don't make eye contact, they won't make eye contact with me, and maybe, you know, like I can be that person, right? I can be the person that rolls down and says, "Hey, here's $1. See you later," or I can be the person that engages. Hey man, is everything okay? What's going on? You know, I don't have much on me, but here's what I got. Hey, did you know that not too far from here there's a shelter that, you know, if it's getting cold out here, did you know, like there's ways that we could engage with people at whatever comfort level that we all have.
Right. Humanize them.
Say that one more time.
Humanize them.
Humanize them. Well, they are humans.
They really are, yeah. You know, wherever I am in the world, if someone asks me for food, I feel like I'm seeing God. I can't deny him. Yep. You know, there's some people that ask for money, and then I'll say, I can buy you something to eat. And some people say, no, that's okay. And some people say, I want the food. So, you know, for anybody that's watching and you're thinking about, okay, I'm really uncomfortable going into a place where a lot of houseless people are congregating. Whenever somebody asks you for food or for money or for something, redirect and say, I can buy you food, and start a conversation. That's a simple way to humanize someone. Ask their name. Oh, what's your name? Speak to them like you're speaking to anybody. That's what I did. That's how I went from fear of what are those people going to do? What do you mean those people? Oh, so he moved here from this place and lost the job and wasn't eligible for Social Security because he was 63, not 65. So that 2-year gap caused him to be houseless. We got a lot of those. We got a lot. We had, you know, we're going to talk about youth houselessness. You know, with Covenant House, I had a wonderful meeting with the executive director. So we're going to have them on in March. And we haven't spoken about youth houselessness. And, you know, just in that conversation, just speaking about some of the signs that we don't even realize are signs of youth houselessness.
Without giving it all away, because I know that's coming up, what's the, you know, 60-second thought process? Because for me right now, like you're saying, youth houselessness, and, you know, what comes up for me is, you know, maybe a teenager that's out on the streets. But I don't even know, like, what do you mean by that? What is that?
A teenager living on the streets. Maybe someone is trans. Maybe someone is gay, was kicked out of the home. They're living on the streets. Someone's parents are kicked out, single mom, and she has children. So there's like 9-year-olds. One of our organizers has experienced youth houselessness, about a 9-10-year-old boy going to school. Real issues within Louisiana. I was just told this by Renisha at Covenant House, that I believe Covenant House is the only place that addresses youth houselessness within the 3-state radius.
Wow.
So if you're in Mississippi, you got to come to Louisiana and you got to come to New Orleans. Can you imagine? I mean, can you imagine being an adult and living on the street? What about a child going to school? What about like if you actually have a situation, but you're going to school, but you can't have clean clothes? So some of these children that smell like pee or look unkempt and they're getting picked on, you know, we're looking at abuse, we're looking at houselessness, we're looking at a lot of stuff. So I'm excited for that conversation, just so that we can start the conversation, start some awareness, start to see what we can do. I know we're running out of time. Listen, we got to bring the music into the action. I got a new single. I'm sorry to cut it off, but you know.
No, it's okay.
We got the
It's okay.
Best of the Beat Awards tonight. You know, that's why I'm dressed up in my white, because I got to head out right after. I want to introduce my video, Organize. It is my first single this year for my solo project, but also with the Cole Williams Band, where I am really bringing that message of give power to the people home with tangible solutions that you can do. So for me, this song is like, put it on, and it tells you how to organize. It gives you focus. We're organizing around education and healthcare and childcare and electricity and self-governance and shelter. So I worked on this video with my cinematographer, director of photography, Michael Alfred, based in New Orleans. We also have Lily Keeper and Jordan Flaherty that donated footage while they were taking footage for organizing with the Greater New Orleans Citizens Relief Team. So this is the world premiere of Organize before it's released on Friday.
All right, here we are.
We in this vacuum, this darkness when it comes to activism. So activism now is getting a permit to march and carry some signs, and that's the end of it. But we're not out here organizing people to build their own homes and create their own businesses and all that. We're not doing it. So the young yuppies, they'll come to town and they'll go in the ghetto and take one of them old houses and fix it up and live, but they don't do it for their neighbor. They set up a little coffee shop, a little bar, but they ain't helping their neighbor do none of that.
Pick pick us up from the bottom. We can build a revolution or a movement without figuring how to pick us up. Oh, we can build a revolution or a movement without figuring how to pick us up from the bottom. We got to organize. Organize. My people organize. Take charge and
Go ahead, Cole.
What you say? What you say, Fabian?
Oh, I'm feeling that, Chuck. That's great. I got to be honest. I got distracted with the visuals because I'm hearing the lyrics and then I zone out and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I was here there, and just seeing the whole thing come together.
I was wondering, like, okay, did you recognize the house, like the steps that they tore down? The city tore down the stairs and left, nothing. It's not like they're rebuilding it. So it's like, you're doing something right when they try to destroy what you're doing, but they don't follow through. We're still standing. Because how can you stop a group of people, from different ethnicities, ages, creed, houseless, housed, working together, loving each other, asking no questions, but how can I help? How can you take away from those people that are building the community where the city is failing? I'm watching that community. It was crime-ridden, beer bottles all over. It's a different block. And so I'm witness, I'm testimony, I'm testifying. I've seen it. What can happen? If you keep dripping a drop of water in the same space, same place, eventually you're going to make a hole.
That's it.
Eventually you're going to make a hole. So I'm watching where it was like that water was just dripping, and now I see the dent.
You're only just begun. So if you're joining us here on the closing hour, we just watched a new music video from Miss Cole Williams. She's releasing next month. We've got the sneak peek from her single titled "Organize," which releases on this month, January 26th. Is that correct? That's like
Friday.
That's this Friday. Hey. So make sure you go and grab your copy. Make sure you download, stream the whole entire thing. Support.
Go on Spotify, get those numbers up.
Get
download.
The numbers up.
Let me pay my electricity this month. Yes, all of it.
Well, it's important, and listening to the track and knowing who you are as a person. What I really enjoy the most about it is you are including your work in your music. You're including on who you are, and you're projecting that out to the world and spreading the message. I think that is just what should be done as far as artistry and as far as creating, community and culture through music. I think you're spot on, Cole.
Thank you.
Now, guys, tune in to our next episode with Cole as we continue discussing simple ways to organize in your community, because we all know it does take a village, and why it's so important to uplift humanity, as Cole says, from the bottom up. In March, we will welcome Covenant House of New Orleans for a necessary discussion about youth houselessness, as we just mentioned not too long ago. And in the words of the late Curtis Muhammad, we can't build a revolution or a movement
without figuring out how to pick us up from the bottom. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of House, the Houseless, Music in Action. Thank you so much to Rope-A-Dope Records, Fabian Lewis. Thank you to Offbeat Magazine, Jan Ramsey, Noe Cooney. Who else we got to thank? And thank you to you for tuning in and just being open to hearing this discussion.
100%. Leave your comments. You know, if you're watching this on the replay, we love to read the comments and, you know, hear your thoughts and how this is resonating with you. And we will see you next month. Same time, same channel. Watch us on socials for the exact details, and we'll talk to you guys then.
Yes. Peace.
Take care. Oh. And this is where my tech thing comes in. Here we go. You can't tell until it's too late.